Okay, I have transferred all my wort into my pail with the cold water in it. The temperature now is below 80 degrees, so it is a good temperature to pitch my yeast. Now what I've got here is this abnormally large spoon, and it's got a little paddle on the end. What we need to do is aerate the wort. Okay, so we're adding air to the liquid. And there's a couple ways to do this with one of these abnormally large spoons, which you just kind of rifle through like this. There's also other tools that you can, paddles and wands and stuff, even stuff you can attach to your drill. And then there's also the old-fashioned method of just put the top on and shake it. But this is pretty easy to do with this paddle. You can see the bubbles on the top. That's a good sign. That means I'm getting air in there. And I did sanitize the spoon with a sanitizer before I used it. Again, everything that comes in contact with this liquid now needs to be sanitized. And I'm going to do this for about 5 minutes. Now that I'm all sanitized, I'm going to take my thief and I'm going to push it down into the liquid and let it fill up. Now the nice thing about the shape of this thief is you can also fit it down inside the neck of a carboy. It's the perfect size for that. Alright, so you can see now she's filled up. I'm just going to leave it in there for a second. And now I'm going to take my sample, put my finger on the end, take my sample, drop right in there. Spilled a little bit over. You're going to want to go about 3/4 of the way full at least. That's probably a good start. Grab my hydrometer, which is sanitized. I'm going to drop it down in the wort. Now, all I got to do is move this around if I need to get rid of some of these bubbles. Then I look for these readings on the side. Drop it down in there, let it settle, and then the number that's right at the water line is my specific gravity reading. In my case, it looks like it's about probably 1.064. Now, your recipe is going to tell you what your target original gravity is. And in my case, my original gravity is supposed to be between 1.036 and 1.050, which means my sugar content's a little high, and that means I need to add some water. And if I don't, it's going to be very, very alcoholic. So I'm going to go ahead and add a little water to this. I noticed my my level was a little bit below 5 gallons anyways. Okay, I added some water, and now my gravity is sitting right about 1.054, which is still a little high, but I think I'm going to go with that because I think the peanut butter did add a bit of sugar, and I don't want this to get real thin. So I'm going to stick with my 1.054, even though it's a little high. And so now all I need to do is dump this back in. Verify my temperature is below 80 degrees, and then I can pitch my yeast. Now what I've done here is what's called a yeast starter. Okay, this is the yeast from my kit, and I've got a cup of lukewarm water under 90 degrees, and I've dumped the yeast into that water, and I'm going to let it sit for about 15 minutes so that the yeast absorbs all the water, and you can see it starting to absorb down there. Once that's all absorbed, then I'm going to go ahead and just dump this into my wort. Okay, now my yeasties have been sitting for about 15 minutes. They're nice and suspended in this warm water, and they've got their little wake-up call, my little yeasties. Hopefully they'll get to work here pretty quickly. So now I'm just going to dump this in. And then I'm going to put the top on. And then I'm going to take my airlock, which I've sanitized, fill it with the appropriate amount of sanitizing solution up to the line. I'm a little low right now, but I'll fix that in a minute. Now I'm going to put it in this hole and seal it up, bring it downstairs, and let it sit 7 to 10 days before we do anything else. And here's our primary fermenter on its shelf down in the basement, so I can forget about it for 7 to 10 days. Please subscribe and look for the next video, part 2, when it comes out in a couple weeks. Thanks for watching.